Let us be still as we come into the presence of love, as we embrace the cosmic Christ within each heart. Let us know that we are loved, and let us be aware that we are living in exciting times spiritually, for we are ascending through the love of the Supreme, along with Mother Earth, along with the universe and the animal kingdom. But on a physical level, many of us are being challenged right now. Yes, we're being challenged in our mind. That brings us back to old wounds in our heart, where sometimes it can become confused. In our body, where many of us are undergoing radical change. But we take heart. And though society that we know is being challenged also, especially people in positions of power, the church, politicians, the state, governments, corruption is being exposed on such an alarming scale, along with grave atrocities that have been committed or are being committed against the children of God. But we have no fear. We have no fear. We have no fear if we are in our heart. But if we procrastinate between heart and mind, then the mind will crush the heart and deny it growth, love. So let us now come into the presence of all that is, and let us just walk in trust. Years ago we called it blind faith in the monastery. Maybe there's an argument for and against. So let us begin by welcoming you, whoever you are, wherever you are, and let us come hand in hand as we embrace the supreme, the divine oneness, God called by many names, but is still the Father, Mother, God of all mankind. Our theme for this evening is down as members of one another for one another. Let us call on the Spirit of God to guide my heart, to speak the words that I am given by Jesus, whom I love, having betrothed my life, my heart, my skills, God's gifts, for peace, for interspiritual unity. And I share that because it's so important for all faiths to recognize that each human being is a child of God. They share the same God, the same love, and that makes us their brother and sister. And for those of us who are Catholic Christian of that persuasion, we believe that we are all members of the mystical body of Christ. For those who embrace interfaith, as I do, we see us as being part of the mystical heart of a loving God. So come now, let us together walk hand in hand in trust, in a spirit of fellowship, in a spirit of togetherness, where color, sexuality, religion, political correctness does not prevent us from embracing the divine in each other. Let us put aside all differences. This is a special time, a time of spiritual preparedness for the influx of the Christ light on the 21st of December 2012. A date that has been foretold by ancient prophecies, by indigenous peoples such as the Mayans and many others. The prophet Enoch refers to it in the Kabbalah and the Tree of Life. The Essenes, who lived for 8,000 years, and who offered Jesus and Magdalena and the early Christian disciples the Essenic philosophies to empower them. Embrace God 3 times each day, morning, noon, and evening, through the communions which we say as members of the Franciscan community, each morning and evening, before morning lauds and evening vespers. So we are connected through the Tree of Life. The beautiful Tree of Life, mentioned in fact by the Mayans 5,000 years ago, when they said, on the Tree of Life will hang the Blessed One, the Christ, the cosmic Christ. So using our gift of free will, we call on the company of heaven. We call on the great ascended masters and spiritual teachers who've walked this sacred earth, who empowered many through their simplicity and their love of God to surrender the heart to love. As we come to the table of many blessings, we come into the presence of God. We come as a beloved of God. We come as a child of God. And being here with each other at this table of many blessings is part of our divine birthright. And we should not make ourselves feel unworthy, for we are not unworthy. We have the Spirit of God within us. We have the I Am presence, living, breathing, beating, moving, singing, dancing, praying to the Supreme within our soul. And I've shared this so many times. The heart, your heart, my heart, is the gateway to your soul. And the soul is the gateway to our God. And God is the purpose of our living, of our being here, to honor our contract, our sacred contract. And that is why we have an affinity with each other when we connect here on Livestream. There is a spiritual connectedness. And many of us who are members of the Teo community of interspiritual Franciscans, we know that we have lived together 2,000 years ago, when the Master Jesus anointed us and appointed us, and where Magdalena anointed our feet, and the Christ within us. And we made a promise that we would return into the most difficult of incarnations, this one, to be a vortex of love, to be a presence of light, to be the hands and feet and beating heart of God, and to be a people of prayer, a people who are detached from materialism, who are in the world but not of it, but yet appreciate the beauty of creation, for therein we find the supreme. For me as a Franciscan who embraces Celtic Franciscan spirituality and who honors all faith traditions and none, as a Catholic Christian, I am honoring my heart in service to God as a bride of Christ. Sounds kinky, but it's not. My heart belongs to the beloved, and it is the beloved who plans my life. All that I have is a gift. All that I own is on loan. I own nothing but have everything, as you do. So when we say we are all part of one another, that we are members of one another, yes, we are. We are all connected through a spiritual umbilical cord of love. And our presence here on earth at this crucial time is to prepare the universe through our prayer, our silence, our meditation, our fasting, our detachment for the coming of the influx of the cosmic Christ. How do I know these things? I don't. It's what I'm told in prayer. And this evening, interestingly, during our 8 o'clock vigil, which is recorded in the storyboard, I was waiting for Brother Rob to finish, and I was stood in the hallway, and an inner voice said to me, pick up the phone, because it's cordless, and bring it with you and sit in front of the camera, and you will be given the words. And I thought, my head immediately kicked in and thought, don't be such a daft fool. You don't want to take the phone in because what if it rings? And I almost convinced myself that it was a silly idea. But I brought it, and I was guided to hold the phone up, and immediately the words came. People are texting one another today. Wherever they are, wherever they go, everyone is texting on their mobile or iPhone. But no one is telephoning God. No one is speaking with the Supreme. People are preoccupied for communication, but their hearts are closed through fear, through ignorance. And using the phone and holding it in my hand, the Christ was saying, phone home, phone your spiritual home, phone your Heavenly Father, Mother God, connect and receive your instructions for the day. And I guess it's because we are living in a despiritualized society where materialism has become the new God on the block, where the children of God are being led astray through lack of responsibility, through lack of leadership. Like Francis in the 12th century, he came into being at the most difficult time in the church history, where clerics had abandoned their vocation, were living with brides, mistresses, and had lots of children, where the Vatican was utterly corrupt, and where the ordinary people were starved to death of spiritual agape. And along came Francis, and along came his mighty troop, barefoot, most of them, with a satchel and just enough to eat, if they had anything to eat. And whatever they had that was surplus, they were shared. But look at the transformation of the world through the simplicity of one man. And his 5-star hotel had room service. Yes, the cave, and his room service came to him from the animal kingdom. They were his friends. They were his companions. And Francis was free. They would have called him today New Age, happy clappy. But he wasn't. He was interfaith. He embraced all children of God, whether they were a believer or a non-believer. And he was a devotee of Rumi. Oh yes. So we all belong to one another. And when we connect with each other through love, something happens. There is an explosion of love. That inner knowing where your soul is rejoicing in the presence of love. It is my belief that God does not do religion. Religion, as you know, is man-made for man to connect with a higher power. But spirituality is God-given because it allows God to connect with you and me without the guilt, without the fear. And I love the quote from Gandhi. I like your Christ, but not your Christians, because your Christians are not like your Christ. And that is true. And many of us have encountered the wrath of well-meaning believers who've been so judgmental, and where their actions and attitude have alienated God's children to live in a spiritual wilderness, denied God, because many have abandoned God through the way they were treated. So we need to find God at grassroots level, not in the academic mind, but at grassroots level. Learn to come together to pray, to play, to laugh, to sing, to dance, to share food together. And that's what we do here as Franciscans. We have an open door policy. We do not run this little monastery's guest house for Christians. It is an oasis of love for all God's children, whether they're black or white, disabled or able-bodied, whether they're physically or vertically challenged, whether they're gay, straight or heterosexual, whether they're Christian or non-Christian. It doesn't matter. What matters is that they come with the right intention, and that is to give and receive, and obviously to respect the boundaries of our little place here. We can't afford to have people come here and inject drugs or come politically drunk. There are unspoken rules to protect the sanctity that God has placed here. And it's the same for you. If you are a follower of a spiritual teacher, one of the teachings will be to seek peace and silence and listen to your heart. But another important teaching is that you respect yourself and that you nurture that sacredness by ensuring that not everybody and anybody comes into your inner space, especially if they be under the influence of mind-altering substances such as drugs or alcohol. We have to be strict, don't you think? And we have to be strong-willed, because today everything is so easy peasy and there's no respect. So we have to earn it by demonstrating our love and not being afraid to speak our truth in love as a family of God. So let us come and let us relax now, and let us reawaken the I Am presence within us, and let us hear what he says. Shall we do that? Okay. But first, I think I need a drink. Oh, that's so good. Okay. Let us conclude our 30-minute session by now entering a period of loving silence where we can kick off our shoes, wriggle our toes, and smile. Let us come into our comfort zone. Let us feel relaxed. Let us call now on the company of heaven, the messengers of God, and our spiritual teachers. It may be the Lord Buddha, Vishnu, Ganesh, Krishna, Gandhi, Rumi, Paramahansa Yogananda, Jesus, Sri Chinmoy, Hildegard of Bingen. What matters is that we invite, invoke, and call upon those who stand in the presence of God to come and support us. And now let us focus on our in-breath. As we listen to the music, let us just take a nice, deep, non-labored breath. And now let us release any stressors that are in our life to beloved Gaia. Let us sense the peace of God where we are as we breathe in. And let us relax. We might want to say our mantra, I am a beloved child of God. I am loved for who I am. I am love. I am peace. I am joy. And now, just visualize that you're sat on a bench in your garden with overhanging maple trees blowing in the wind, and the sun is shining, and you can hear the birds singing. And you're sat there totally relaxed, and you can feel the warmth of Brother Sun on your forehead, and it's so soothing. And you're inclined to nod back and accidentally fall asleep into a restful sleep. And in that sleep, you become aware that someone has joined you on the park bench. Yes. And you can smell the wonderful body odor. It's a perfume. It's strong yet subtle. It has a masculine smell. And there's a tinge of feminine scent as well. And you realize there are 3 of you sat on this bench in your sacred garden. There's a male presence on your right and a female on your left, but you're not afraid. And your hands are resting on your lap, and suddenly you become aware that the man has placed his hands on your right, and the female, their hands on your left hand. And you can feel a burning heat. Oh gosh, it is so healing. And with every in-breath that you breathe, it's sending subtle shock waves to your brain, inviting you to be still and to stop worrying. It's sending shock waves to every muscle in your body to relax, and they are relaxed. And they're now sending subtle waves to your heart, that it's okay to open your heart to love. It's okay to be still. as you open your eyes from the dream, you were not dreaming. You can see the Christ, a young man of great beauty, but his face has been weathered because of living outdoors in the sunlight. But he has the most enigmatic smile, and he's looking at you as he strokes your hand. And as you look to your left, there is this beautiful young woman with long flowing tresses of deep ginger hair, with a beautiful complexion and the most beautiful smile and piercing olive eyes. And with each gentle stroke of her hand, she's applying spikenard to the palm of your hand. And it's so soothing. And they come closer to you and now place their arms around you. And they speak to your heart. Surrender to love. For there is no greater thing you can do. Surrender your heart, your life to love, to the Supreme, to a loving Father, Mother, God who loves you. And Jesus is picking up your nonverbal questions, and one of them is, what do I do to prepare for 2012? And he's speaking now to your heart. Let us hear what he has to say. A time of great change. A time when all will have to come back to their heart and therein find the one who created them and surrender their lives to love, to peace, to joy. It is a time of great upheaval for those who offer lip service, for those who pretend to represent me, for they will pay the price for their disobedience and disloyalty. But this is a great time, a time of reawakening all that you are, to all that you are, to all that you could be, to all that you know you will be. For you are a child of the Most High Supreme. You are a beloved of God. And the moment you surrender your heart, you will see the face of God. And all your fears will be encapsulated by love. Christ consciousness is not an academic degree. It's not a philosophy or a teaching. It is the language of love, expressed heart to soul to heart. A time of great miracles, when you will see me and you will fall at the feet of God in loving service. And many will know who you are by the love you demonstrate to yourself, to the I Am presence within you, and to the I Am presence within every child of God, regardless of their lifestyle or belief. A time of great reawakening, a time of letting go of old ways and habits, a time for beholding, enfolding and listening to the voice of God. Release. Release your soul and your life from the influence of great negativity that has attacked the children of God for over 2,000 years. And the time has come to sever the chains that have enslaved the children of love. No more will you have to process in your mind. You will know intuitively exactly what it is and how you've to do it. It is an ancient language called love. It is a language that reawakens and reconnects your soul's DNA to the Supreme. Be still now and allow my healing love touch every part of you. Be still. Be still and know that God is with us, that the Supreme is present, and all is well. All is well.